I am the Knight Automated Roving Robot, the first in a bold new experiment. You may call me KARR. If I am destroyed, so shall you be.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to the dumbest modeling channel on all of YouTube, Pitstain Hobbies. We're going back to the 80s today with our car build. It's brought to you by my checking account and also the great Mike Lane Mods, who has provided every one of his mods, as well as Ken Beard of Kenneth Toys, aka TheKnightRider.com, who has provided all of his great mods, which are made to work with Mike Lane's mods. So that's great. We have a little discount code here. So if you go to TheKnightRider.com, you could use TKR-Pitstain10 for 10% off any non-sale item. So there we go. Terms and conditions may apply. I don't know. But yeah, everybody's out there building kit, and they're building awesome kits. My buddy Jordan, he's building an amazing kit. My friend Todd, his website is integral to me finishing this because his instructions are amazing. Links below. He also did the video intro, and he did the thumbnail with art from DeviantArt. Credits below. But everyone's building awesome kits, and I'm going to build an awesome car. Oh yeah. This thing's going to be so cool. So I managed to get my hands on a complete and unadulterated set of parts from a nice gentleman on Facebook. There we go. We've got both little gift cars here. So yeah, so we have the Ultimate Electronics kit. We have my boombox out just for fun. This is like a retro throwback, I think a JVC clone. It's actually a Bluetooth speaker, and it's quite heavy, and the sound quality is pretty darn good actually. But let's get this. Oh man, it's got a big lithium-ion pack in it. It's heavy. Got that out of the way, and we're, like I said in the intro, we're only going to cover the parts of the build where we're modding it, because otherwise just use Todd's website and World of Wayne's videos or whatever you want, and you're going to do just fine. And also Mike Lane's website for the instructions to install his mods. And these mods are fairly self-explanatory, but there are little pictures of where they go and how they work on that website on TheKnightRider.com. We've already assembled stage 1, the lovely little hood with the scoop or the ram air or the hump or what have you. And we'll put that off to the side so we don't mar the paint. Now we've got to start doing stuff to make it look like this. So this was my test bumper. I bought a spare stage 2 off of eBay and a little yellow brick stuff scanner. And Todd had an extra yellow lens from his Mike Lane kit that he didn't use. So this will be pretty much what it'll look like. And the paint job, you don't want it to be, if you want to be TV accurate, you want the paint job to not be perfectly perfect. Pretty good is just as good as it was on the TV show. If you watch freeze frames, you can see little chips and dips and masking tape imperfections where they just really hastily masked off one of the regular kits and painted it silver with like rattle cans in a garage somewhere in California and changed the scanner bulbs out and put a yellow lens in there. They didn't do much. The voice box, I guess they changed. But yeah, KARR was, and until season 3, KARR looked just like Kit. Red scanner, all black body, just a different voice. And clearly a really bad attitude. But for season 3, episode 2, Kit versus KARR, he ended up going to a boat, a maintenance place and getting a bit of a respray. I don't know how they managed to change his scanner lights from red to yellow. Urgh. Okay, time for a new X-Acto blade. But that was harder than it should have been. I'm tired. I was cooking for hours tonight. I made a giant batch of chicken parmesan. And if you're a frequent viewer of this channel, or me on live streams, you know I have quite the infatuation with my chicken parmesan. I also make very good chicken parmesan. I usually just order subs because I'm lazy. Tonight I made it. The wife is recuperating from surgery, and she wanted homemade chicken cutlets, and I said, well, why don't I just make some sauce and grate some mozzarella up, and we will have chicken parm. So here is our bumper, and I have to say the paint finish on this is pretty decent. I always polish these bits up a bit. I break out like my little polishing wheel set with compounds and my Dremel, and I just go over them because sometimes there's some like manufacturing haze or some orange peel or something. This one though, the bottom looks pretty good. So we're gonna mask this off and paint it first. These parts we're gonna put to the side for now. Try not to lose them. Well, let's see here. And also we're not going to use, we're gonna start throwing parts away. So the stock lens is going bye-bye, and the stock scanner front backing housing plate, that's going to go bye-bye as well, because we've got obviously Mike Lane's scanner in there, his ultimate scanner, and we've got Kenneth's upgraded scanner housing that'll work with Mike Lane's board. And you can see it's got some chrome paint in there. It's 3D printed, and that's going to go in place of the stock part. The stock part would work fine probably, but you know, aftermarket's usually better. And again, the red scanner lens, no, that's for the good guys, oddly enough, even though it was like Cylons in Battlestar Galactica with the red. But there we go. So let me get this masked up, and I will show you the masking. The process is putting masking tape on to follow the body lines, using maybe a freeze frame, like pausing the episode of Kit versus Karr, so you can kind of see where the body line went. And we're going to do our best. I'll be right back. Alrighty, so what we did was I pulled up some still frames from the show. Actually, Karr had some scratches in the silver paint right here on this corner. So if we really wanted to be hyper accurate, we would chip up the bumper a little bit afterwards. That being said, I'm fine. I'm going to do like a fairly clean Karr build. So what I did was I got this first tape line down. And again, you want to kind of follow the body lines. Follow that. It's not perfect up here because it's kind of a... They didn't follow the sharpness of the nose perfectly with the masking on the TV car. They almost didn't even bother with this hump. They almost went straight across. And for this, I used the Tamiya 1mm masking tape because it allows you some bendability while still maintaining a seal. Then you burnish it down with your thumb or your preferred finger of burnishing. You want to kind of basically line up that body line on the bumper right with these two screw studs here at the top. So we're going to get those lined up. Now what we're going to do, and we did wipe the whole thing down with isopropyl alcohol, and what we're going to do is we're going to wipe down a little more now that we have that first piece of tape down. We're going to wipe the rest of this down, and I'm just going to continue from this tape line, masking the rest of the black off to protect it. And then when we're done with the masking, I do have a step I do that I'm going to show you. We don't necessarily need to key this paint. It's fine. Okay, it's fine. It worked. I did it before. I didn't sand the paint down. It worked. Okay. And also for our silver, we're using Tamiya X11 chrome silver, not XF. This is well, not, I mean, it's not flat paint, but it's definitely not high gloss. But it's the closest color I could find that I already had that I didn't need to order, but I could have ordered anything I wanted. But I know how Tamiya sprays, and I'm pretty good spraying Tamiya because it is somewhat idiot-proof. And take it from an idiot, this stuff is easy to use. So the X11 Chrome Silver is what I'm going to use for the two-tone on the bottom of this car. Let me get the rest of the masking tape on here, and I will be right back. Alrighty, so we're all masked up. I started with that 1mm tape line, then I went with the 2mm, then 6, then 10, then I filled it all in. And you want to make sure you get all the way to the back edge of the black at the top so that you don't get any bleed through that you can see, like between the hood and the top of the fender. And then I did actually scuff this down with a little bit of like a 1500 to 2000 grit, just mostly around the edges, because on my prototype piece, that's the only place where I've managed to chip the paint, and I've manhandled it pretty well. Now, the trick I do when I'm masking and I don't want paint bleed, and this is not something I invented myself. I saw another modeler do this. I forget who exactly, but in this case, some gloss clear. If you're doing a canopy as well, like a clear canopy, do some gloss clear after you mask the canopy. That way, any bleed that's going to happen will be gloss clear bleed onto the canopy. And that'll be easy to just, if you did notice something, you could easily polish it away with some, regular clear polish, like plastic polish or something, and polish away that clear paint. A lot easier than trying to get colored paint off of like white or gray or black or whatever color you're using off of your clear part, or in this case, silver off of my black that bled through the tape. And it's really just, and I got to hit the high fan, I'm sorry. I got an auxiliary fan hooked up to the output of my paste. It does a good job on its own, but with this auxiliary fan, it really sucks hard. Come on. There we go. Super suck mode. This is what they didn't have in Spaceballs. It's okay if you get it on the part you're going to paint. It's just going to act as basically a clear primer. But you mainly want to get it around on the tape, all the tape seams. And I mean, honestly, we could just kind of do a whole base coat with clear as a primer. And just little light shots. That's all we need. Okay. And there we go. She's good. Now we're going to put this into our food dehydrator, aka our paint drying booth, for probably about 20 minutes at 120 degrees. And she should be nice and dry, and we could go and lay down our main silver coat. So instead of letting it sit 24 hours, 20 minutes to half an hour, depending on what paint you're using and what type of paint and whatnot, and you're ready to go for your next stage, getting a food dehydrator is a fantastic trick. All right, I'll be right back. Alrighty, so it's all dried up. So that should have sealed in our tape pretty well, that clear coat. And let's go back over to the booth. There we go. This is a little high, but it'll work. It'll work. Got to make sure that we don't have any residue in any of our little nooks and crannies. Want clean nooks and crannies. I'm actually gonna go in here. I think some, there we go. Got a little bit of paper towel residue stuck in there. Okay, she's clean now. She's good. We're not gonna touch her. And what we gotta do, this is not an easy thing to film. Hold on, let me just get this stupid thing out of the way. There we go. It's probably a little easier right there. We're gonna load up our GSI Krios PS266 airbrush with a 0.5 needle, and we're gonna load it up with the Tamiya chrome silver. And should I paint live on camera? I can, I suppose. I don't know. Does anyone want to see that? Somebody does, because that's when all the screw-ups happen, when I start doing things live on camera instead of hitting the pause button on recording. And let's load up the airbrush. Okay. Okay, she's working. Maybe I should get my cell phone out of here. Probably a good idea. I'm gonna put the big fan on. There we go. Running about 20 psi and 50/50 of Tamiya X28 thinner, or whatever the hell it is. Some people say my pressure's too high or too low or something like that. I don't know. I just kind of do what I do. To be honest, you know, the guys at Universal, they were not, they were just getting her done, you know, get her done. Get her done modeling. That's what the vehicle team was doing. And they were really just, they had one job. Have cars ready for the filming day, date and location. It really didn't matter how they did it or when they worked, as long as it was ready when the director and producer needed it ready. And that was their only mission. So they definitely cut corners quite a few times. And as we can see, KARR is coming to life, evil as he is. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to kind of pinch this. I'm going to try to get this thing tilted, and I want to paint the back edges of this bumper cover. I didn't do that for my desk prop, but I'm doing it for this one. And I want to get a nice even coat of paint, full coverage. Make sure the beauty spots are fully coated. Again, we did the clear coat before this, so hopefully that will block off any silver seepage. If the worst case scenario, we can always go in and do some more. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to throw this in the dryer and let it dry for a while, let that paint cook off in the dehydrator. I'm going to clean my airbrush, and when it's done drying, we're going to hit it with some more gloss clear. And I'll be back. All right, well, our Tamiya Chrome Silver has dried, and like I said, it's not flat paint like XF, but it's definitely not glossy. It's got a lot of flake in it, which is good. It's got a lot of silver flake in it, but at the best, it's a satin finish. So we're gonna take our Mr. Super Clear Gloss. Sorry, I'm hitting the high fan. It's gonna be a little noisy. And we're gonna get a nice wet coat on here without dripping, hopefully. So what we want is a nice because when it'll self-level itself. Now I gotta get in get that nice wet coat on there, because that's how you get a good glossy finish. There'll be a little bit of a step because of the amount of paint we're adding. It's unavoidable, and it was in existence on the actual production car because they literally just masked off the black and sprayed the silver and the clear over it. I don't even know if they cleared it. They might have used single stage paint. But whatever they did, I guarantee you, if you ran your fingers across the bodywork of KARR from season 3, you'd feel the paint step. So we're going to have a scale accurate paint step on it. Into the dryer this is going for probably about 20-30 minutes, and then we will unmask this and show you the goodness, and hopefully no carnage of creepage of overspray. Be right back. Alrighty, well, we're out of the drying booth. And we're gonna get this thing off of the holders. Now this paint is not super glossy yet. We've got to buff it out. So we're gonna use our compounds and our buffing pads on our Dremel to buff that out. I don't think you'll need to go through the minutia of that. Even though this is pretty well dry, I'm not gonna handle the silver part very much because, I mean, even though it's gone off, like it's pretty much mostly dry. It's never really fully dry until it just fully off gases on its own for about 24 hours. But let's see a live pull ASMR of the paint edge, and it should be a little rough. like the TV car, and it is slightly, very slightly wonky, which is good. And let's keep peeling. Oh, baby. There we go. Okay. And we have, almost no silver bleed through, but the tiniest little bit there. And that'll buff right off. But there's our edge. It's not absolutely perfect, and you don't want it absolutely perfect. If anything, I want to chip this corner up to make it a little more screen accurate. But there we go. We've got our car bumper with the paint on there. And I really do not want to mess with this thing for probably about 24 hours or so. So what I'm going to do is, as it's coming up on 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and I think we have a time change coming up. I think. When is daylight savings time? Let's see. Let's just Google this. Daylight savings 2025. Sunday, March 9th. Oh, son of a yeah. We go forward an hour tomorrow. So, that being said, here we are. We got our second car bumper painted up. I did a equally crappy job. No, I did a worse job on the first one. That's why I did a test bumper, just to get a lay of the land of how that was going to go. But yeah, there we go. And after this, we're going to put in our front bumper grills. Even though KARR didn't have them, I just think they look badass. They really just look awesome. So thank you, Mike Lane, for the bumper grills. After that, we're going to install this, okay, and put the Mike Lane scanner behind it. So thank you, Ken Beard. These are really good. Yeah, the KnightRider.com. Get some great parts. There's more of his parts coming up in the build. A ton of Mike Lane's parts and a lot of Ken's parts. So this will be this is going to be like a full option build, including obviously two-tone paint. My favorite tone of paint, two-tone. There we are. So I guess, you know what? I'm not going to call the episode here. I'll be back when I wake up and I get back down to the bench. And we'll do some more of this. We'll probably get into stage 3 and be able to use the drilled brake discs and some more fun parts. So be right back, I guess. Alrighty, well, let's talk about polishing. So back in the day, I did a stint at a body shop in the summer when I was a very young guy, and I have this stuff. Okay, it's extremely expensive, and it's gigantic bottles. This is for compounding multiple full size automobiles, vehicles, trucks, cars, whatever, boats, whatever, all that stuff. You have stage 1, 2, and then this is a different brand, but it's a stage 3. It's a fine polish and swirl remover that happens after these other things happen. But what also we have now is we have MadWorks. Those aren't on my Amazon link. They're you can get them at newtype.us and a few other places, probably eBay. And then they have these polishing wheel sets also. But also I got bulk polishing discs from Amazon. Those are in my Amazon links. To the polishing discs. And what we want to do is hit this with like a 2-stage, maybe a 3-stage polish. So basically it's usually 1, 2, 3. Stage 1, this says coarse, but it just means a heavier cut. Then you have fine, which is a very lighter cut, and then super fine, which is sort of almost, fine swirl remover. We do want to get a little bit of gloss into this paint, but not too much gloss into the paint, if you know what I mean. And we're also going to hit the black here and take out any minor imperfections that are on that. The tool we're going to use for this is going to be a Dremel multi-tool. I also have the dog claw trimmer. You want to use something with the slowest speed possible. So this starts at 6,500 RPM. This starts at, I think, 5,500 and 6,000 or 6,500 and 8,000. Some Dremels can go as low as 5,000. You don't have to use Dremel brand. I've just always used this brand for my whole life, and so has my father when I was a kid, and we've never had one die on us. So I stick with that brand. I just like them. These are both in my Amazon web store. This one might be the better option, but I have it set up for a micro drill right now, so I really don't want to do that because I'm going to lose that drill bit. So I'm going to use this fella, and to do that, I need the happiest Knight pliers on eBay. On YouTube. Jesus, Ian. This is the heavier cut pad. So we're just going to put that in there. And don't do this near any of your nice stuff, because you will get white spattery stuff all over the damn place. And you want to shake your polish. Let's get these big beasts out of here. I'll use them, but it's pointless because you can't afford, no one can afford these things anymore. They're so expensive. It's like $50 to $100 a bottle for those things, and you can get the little 3-pack of MadWorks for, $10 to $15 or something like that. And we just want to put a little dab will do you. Put a few dabs on there. And the way it works, if no one's done this before, is you want to dab it and rub it onto the paint first. And then we're going to put this thing on the lowest setting of 1. And we're just going to gently go back and forth. And you want to kind of keep this moving. You don't want to keep it stuck in one spot. You'll burn the paint potentially, or introduce swirls that you'll then have to polish out again. And really that's it. It's just a whole lot of that. And we're going to go through all 3 stages with the 3 different pads. So my yellow pads here are the heaviest. They're the stiffest pad. The orange pad is a medium pad, and the black pad is the soft finishing pad. So basically that's going to be the fine, and then the super fine, and then the yellow we're using the coarse. I'm going to go through all those stages. I mean, we can even do a little demo here. So it's not the most perfect. This black, it's good. And just be very careful not to hit it with like the Velcro backing pad or the metal shaft on there. But we're just going to be a little more aggressive on the factory paint. It'll also help us remove that tiny bit of overspray we had, and it just gets it right off of there. And you can already see the little white dots of poop everywhere. That's what happens, and whatever, you're just going to wipe it all off afterwards. So let me give it a quick wipe with Mr. Towelly. Hello. Hi, guys. And it's already looking a lot better, but there's still a little bit of a haze there, and that's a factory haze. There's some kind of a slight residue on the factory paint. I've seen this on mostly only, obviously, black-colored, black-painted models, but the difference is very subtle so far from side to side. But yeah, we're just going to go through all that polishing and do this, like I said, do it away from your nice stuff. I'm doing it in the spray booth because this is where I intend to make messes, and then I could clean it all up with acetone and whatever else I want afterwards. But yeah, so it's work. And clearly, we want to get rid of that haze and some of these tiny little, see that little, the pimpliness to the factory paint? If I can't get this one nicer than the other bumper, I'll just use the other bumper, which is fine with me. But that's where we're at. So I'm going to do that same thing all over the bumper with all 3 stages. I'll show you the final result, because watching somebody polish paint is freaking boring. All right, well, just a stage 1 update. I've used the coarse and the yellow pad. You can see there's a little residue there from where I started taking off. Just a tiny bit. Just a tiny bit. See, all the haze is pretty much, there's a tiny little remnant of it there. But this is the face of the car, so you want it to be nice. And all the silver, I mean, it doesn't really show up that well on camera. There we go. It's still a little dull. It's going to get better. I'm going to do the fine with an orange pad, and I'll be back. Okay, there we go. Stage 2 of polishing is done with the fine polish, and now you can start to see all the haze is gone from the black paint. That's my fingerprint right there. These are going to be covered up with panels, so I'm not polishing those out. And then the silver's getting a little more shiny, even though it really doesn't show off well on camera. But it's not supposed to be super glossy. Remember, these were hastily done at Universal, so you don't need, like, somebody will go and, oh, why don't you use a 2-pack clear, which is an automotive grade 2-part clear coat with a clear and a catalyst or hardener or whatever. And yeah, that's a great idea if you want to get like a super glossy finish. We have some modelers in the group, talking to you, Dom, who get amazing results on their automotive models. I'm not going for amazing. I'm going for kind of screen accurate, which means a little on the crappy side. But now we're going to take our super fine compound with our softest black pad. Honestly, I think the Velcro's a little worn out on this one. I'm going to get a fresh black pad out. And I'm going to, yeah, you can get a giant bag of these things on Amazon. Super cheap. Like, this entire bag didn't cost much more than this little 3-pack from MadWorks. Just to show you, you just gotta, it's like iRobot. You must ask the right question on Amazon to find the right polishing pads. But yeah, I love these things. So I'm going to do stage 3, and I'll be back in a few minutes. Okay, so there we go. There's the final product. That's looking pretty good. Well, almost the final product. It's looking very nice. So now what we're going to do, because I'm a little OCD, is I have some cheap ceramic coating I got off Amazon. I think it's in my Amazon link below. Just search for ceramic. And we're just going to, well, I think we have to shake this a little, probably. Yeah. I mean, you got to kind of shake everything, right? And literally, just a couple little dabs will do you. So we're just going to put a few drips on there, snap that shut, and then I'm going to hit this, okay, with the graphene ceramic coating everywhere. There we go. Along the bottom, and that's going to give it just a wee bit more gloss than without the ceramic coating. It'll help protect our paint. It'll make it easier to get fingerprints off, and we're just going to let that dry for a while. I don't know, 15, 30 minutes. I forgot. There's instructions. Did I read them? Not recently. Oh, careful. Improve, yada yada, blah blah blah. I think there were instructions in this somewhere at some point. I don't know. Whatever. I'm going to let this sit for a while, and then I'm just going to give it a little gentle wipe with a microfiber. We'll be all done, and we're going to get back to actually building. For the rest of the build, I'm not going to go over the painting process. I'll skim over it. I'll go, oh, here I'm masking this, and it's going to get painted and polished like everything else. I'm polishing every panel on this car. I want it to look beautiful. So every panel is going to get the paint treatment that needs it, the 3-stage polishing, and the graphite coating, and that's that. And honestly, this spatter goes friggin' everywhere when you're polishing. Look, there's all the little white specks. It's everywhere. Okay? So really, I mean, it's made it like, 3 or 4 feet away and gotten all over my Yeti mug. It goes all over the damn place. So do this somewhere you don't care about making a mess. Maybe just go outside. I don't know. I'll be right back. Okay, so we polished out the ceramic coat, and oh my God, she gleams. Look at that. Even the silver that wasn't super glossy, it's got a little more gloss to it now. Still a little dull. That's an artifact of the paint I used and the clear coat I used. If you wanted it hyper glossy, I would suggest using maybe like an alclad lacquer, similar, color to the Tamiya chrome silver, and then a two-part automotive clear coat, and then you will have it mega glossy. But then it'll look like a replica that somebody made in a proper body shop, with high quality finishing work being done, as opposed to being painted, on the Universal lot hastily for that episode. So yeah, there we go. So that's what you could pretty much expect from the rest of the car. As I assemble and paint the panels, I'm going to line up obviously the fenders, and I'll line that up. Then I'll line up the doors, and I'll probably paint all the parts individually, just for sheer convenience of the build. But yeah, she's she's looking good. Okay, I got to stop flapping my damn lips, get back to building. So we're gonna go over to the other camera when we get back and start putting on some mods. Be right back. Alrighty, and we're back. And of course, one last look at that gloriously shiny finish. That ceramic coat really does, it really does add a bit of zing to the finish. Can't say I don't recommend it. It's pretty good, and I think it was pretty cheap. It was like 20 something dollars for that bottle of ceramic coat. That would ceramic coat probably 50 part work cars. You only use a few drips of it, for each panel. It's amazing stuff. It's really cheap. It's not like something you'd want to use on your real car. I mean, it would work. It just wouldn't last as long going through car washes and being out in the elements. But these sit under, display cases or on shelves with, nobody touching them, or you're using your white museum gloves to handle them, which I should probably be wearing. Yeah. I don't know if that's, we'll see how that works out. But right now we're going to put on the Mike Lane front bumper grills, which are lovely little bits of kit, as they would say on the British motoring programs. Look at those thin, delicate little metal bars. Now again, I know they weren't on KARR in the TV show. And I'm talking about screen accuracy with the semi-crappy paint job I'm doing here. But you know what? Two things can exist at the same time. Wants and needs, and accuracy and opinion, so to speak. Oh, I got a ding-dong going on there. We have a left and a right. We're going to put this facing down. There's a little ding-dong that's supposed to go in there. It's like a parking sensor or something. We're not using that. It just looks stupid. So this is the left one. It's going to go over here. And then the right one's going to go on the other side. And to apply it, there's a little bit of double-sided tape on the inner portion. We're going to peel that backing off. Now, this is some 3M VHB, which means very high bond. So we're going to make sure we get this onto that screw stud first and use our tweezers, and get this thing kind of positioned in place properly. And it's kind of a pressure sensitive adhesive. So as you press it down, it will stick, and oh boy will it stick. We're going to get a screw in here, dip it in a little schmoo. We're going to get that screw on there. Okay. There we go. And just to make sure I'm looking at this right, I think it looks fine. There we go. Sticky, sticky. There's our grill. Oh. Yeah, it just adds a nice little touch. It really does. It just looks, it's just nice. I'm going to get the other one in there and I'll be right back. Alrighty. Well, we've got our 3 fog lights in. I didn't need to go over that because there's nothing deviating from the standard instructions there. So now, like I said, we're going to chuck this sucker, which is fine. I mean, you could just use one of those Molotov chrome pens and just paint in those little areas. It's going to help with the light transmittance. But I'm using the awesome Mike Lane scanner upgrade. Use original mounting hardware from Kenneth Toys, theknightrider.com. Oh, he's got some goopy. He's got that credit card, that new credit card in the mail adhesive stuff. Theknightrider.com. And again, there is a discount code. There you go. Thank you again, Ken. Sending these complimentary mods that will work with the Mike Lane mods. Very happy about that. Just still peeling some of the gooey schmoo off of the back there. And what are we doing? We got to bolt this thing in, I suppose. We're not going to put... So now let's go into our Mike Lane Mods Ultimate Electronic Kit. Ultimate! Let's start getting some of these parts. Oh my God, that dashboard. That looks so good. Oh my God, okay. Okay, so we've got the scanner here. So I am going to strategically slice open that plastic to just allow the scanner to come out. Lovely. Come on, focus. There we go. Mike Lane's got nice printed PCBs. Kit scanner, V1 copyright. Beautiful. And here, the lenses are in here. So we've got the little, there we go. So we've got clear and yellow and clear and red, and I think we're gonna stack them. Probably gonna put the yellow behind the clear, but I'm gonna double check the instructions and I'll be back in a second. Alrighty. So I've got the scanner out and I've got the wire for the scanner that says to scanner plugged in there. Very carefully, make sure you get the orientation correct. Okay, on this 4-pin connector, which is, oh, so tiny, so delicate, so little. But yeah, it fits perfect. Then we're going to take a couple of GM screws to screw the back of the scanner housing in. Let's see, bigger Phillips or smaller Phillips? Looks like the bigger Phillips. We're going to turn this fella over, which is why we've got it on the microfiber. And we're going to take our Ken Beard Kenneth Toys, and it's going to go right on the stock studs and use the stock hardware. And I'm going to dip my screw in a little bit of 3-in-1 oil. I'm going to use the stock screws. I'm just going to get that one started. Get the other screw in there. Okay. Ah, come on. This thing doesn't want to stand up on its nose. No. And we'll get those screwed in. Nice and snug. And we'll see how the Mike Lane scanner fits in with the Mike Lane compatible Kenneth Toys scanner housing. And oh my God, it fits like a freaking glove. There you go. It's really good. The benefit of the ceramic coat is fingerprints wipe off real easy. Okay, so that's great. That scanner goes in perfectly. And we got to use 2 AP screws, which we do have a couple spares right here. And we're going to use those. Come on, come on. And we're going to put 2 AP screws right into the back of the scanner and get that one started and a little snug. We'll get the second one in, started, snug it down a little more, snug that one down a little more, the PCB is going to flex, just like the stock one. You know, they come out of the bag flat, but when they're fully installed, they flex into place just so nicely. Oh, wow, that looks good. And then we can just basically, I guess, drop in the lens at some point. Let me read Mike Lane's instructions. Fragile cable. Yes. Take care not to pull. Yeah, don't do that. Socket on the back. Carefully refit. Now refit. To use the interchangeable. Simply insert the bent clear lens first, then the flat colored lens you would like to use behind the clear lens. That's kind of what I thought. So we're going to take a clear lens, which is bent, and a yellow lens. There we are. And we still got some spares. They give us a spare. You get 2 of each color lens, and you get 2 of the clear lenses. So we put in the clear, and I'm not going to light test it right now because I just don't have that. Oh, and there's like notches in Ken's part that perfectly capture the Mike Lane lenses, which is super cool. Oh, like a glove. Beautiful. Wow, that is a nice tight fit. Very nice. It's like it was made to work with the Mike Lane scanner mod, which it was. Bravo, Ken. Bravo, Mike. They didn't even collaborate on this. Ken just was like, how do we make kit nicer for Mike Lane's part? And that's what he did, was that. And we got Mike's awesome grills here, the super scanner, whatever, you know, the ultimate scanner, and the yellow lenses, and our now production car bumper that is replacing our, why did I not plug in that friggin' USB cable? I didn't turn any of my lights on for this build. What kind of moron am I? Don't answer that. You guys know. I'm a special kind of moron. Like, really, Ian? You're doing the car build and you forgot to turn on the car bumper? But yeah, we're going to end up with something a little nicer than that, because this is going to definitely outdo the Brick Stuff scanner by a fair margin. We'll do a side-to-side comparison once I have this thing hooked up enough to the circuit boards to test it. But, oh man, okay. Well, we're done for now, I think. Oh wait, we got drilled brake rotors. Well, that's the next stage. We can show those off real quick, I think. I'll be right back. Okay, so we're working on the wheel. And a lot of people, even my buddy Todd, he'll say, you know, warm the tire up in some warm water for 30 seconds or hot water. What I did is I put a little tiny bit of silicone grease on my fingertip, and I'm rubbing it right along the inside bead of the tire. Now what that does, well, you know what that does. Always add schmoo. If something doesn't want to fit, lube her up. And you can squeeze this thing together so much easier. And if you want a little extra help, you can use these little bar clamps, and that will then help close the gap. So you're not counting on the screw threads to pull the tire together. You're it's already together. Make sure you don't damage that little valve stem right there. So don't put your clamp on the valve stem. You will crush it and destroy it pretty well. And so with those clamps and the lube, that completely closes up the rim pretty much. And dear God, that alarm is violent. I'm going to get my screws in there, and that's that. I just wanted to go over that little build tip because, like I said, I wasn't going to do things where there's no mods happening. But yeah, that's a cool tip. I'll be right back. Okay, so the wheel's together. It's off camera now. Now we have the brake disc. So this just, Jesus, honey, stop texting me. This just pushes together, and it's got the nice veins in there. I do like the venting in the rotor. That's good. And then we got some black. We got a black circle here. Now this isn't to make the brake disc black. This is an adhesive sticker. Oh my God. Where are my friggin' glasses? Man, this... I like the LASIK. I can wake up in the morning, not have to put in contacts, and I can see, where I'm urinating. But man, yeah, got to use the readers. So we're going to take this side of the rotor with all those ejector pin marks. I mean, that you're not really going to see the brakes all that much on this model once the wheels are on, because there's not a lot of viewing area there. But we're just going to stick that onto the rotor. Then we're going to take this lovely piece of photo etch metal and we're just going to plop her on there. And now you've got drilled and slotted rotors. Those look great. The drilled rotors, they allow gases to escape easier into the venting of the rotors. And then the slots will help wipe the brake pads. That's the purpose of drilled and slotted rotors. If they're done right, they're great. If they're done wrong and cheaply by China, they can crack like crazy. But either way, it's a nice little touch. Kit's a high-performance vehicle, so that's appropriate. The rest of the stage is just the standard build. So I'm going to do the rest of the stage 2 off of this video because there's no other mods until we get further into the build. So thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in the Knight Industries Trailers Dunce Cap Corner. I'm Pit Saint Hobbies, and I'll see you next time, everybody. Adios, people.